so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality. And the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. Now, of course, understanding this powerful truth is one thing. Applying this incredibly empowering wisdom to everyday life, well, that's another. Which is exactly why we provide you with a fresh serving of soul food for thought 5 days a week. To help constantly remind you of what matters most. You are it. And I'm your host for the day, Erica Middlemiss. I am just another reflection and extension of you who will be here filling in for our beloved host, Brandon Beecham, leading the way to ensure your perspective is consistently expanded, your vibration is constantly elevated, and your heart is overflowing and full. Also, this episode of the Positive Head Podcast is being brought to you thanks to the support of Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. All right, all you positive heads, welcome back to another magical Monday. I am happy to be here in Brandon's absence. I always love to fill in for him when he's gone. It's such an honor and a pleasure. And it's even more so today because I get to be hanging out with Sonya Sophia, who is amazing. And so she's going to share a lot of her wisdom and love with us today. So welcome, Sonya.
Well, hi, Erica. Thanks for having me. It's so fun to be back.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome. So what are we going to talk about today? This is your show.
Well, how exciting. I want to say I just got back from Burning Man, spread the love of tapping with about 3,000 more people. It's my 10th year tapping out in the dust.
Wow.
Met a lot of P heads that know Brandon and came. That was such a joy to get to hug people in person out in the dirt there.
Oh, awesome.
And just for people who are looking for me at Burning Man, my camp is called Star. I have a new camp. So heads up, P heads, next year, find me at Star. Also, I wanted to mention that this last weekend was World Peace Weekend. And in case any of you P heads want to know more about that kind of thing, some beautiful things are happening around the world, much in alignment with what we're doing here on the show, which is to bring people together through the magic of the internet so that we don't feel isolated and separated and alone. There's a group called Unify, and they've partnered with Earth Dance. And this weekend, they did 3 different huge events. One was a dance on Saturday that I was helping lead out in a field in Texas where we had 200 people gathered, and we danced in synchronization with 108 different countries that held about 300 events. So all over the world, there were dancers' feet, praying for peace, setting intentions, planting seeds of love and hope and what we want for ourselves. And it was such a beautiful experience to be like, wow, we're here and we're thumping the earth on this side and someone else is doing it in another country. And all over the world, people were getting up in the middle of the night to do this. People were waking up at dawn to do this in Australia, and we were just pumping the earth. So if something good happened this weekend for you, maybe it had to do with all of these beautiful dancers using their bodies to pulse the field with love and hope and intentions for our world.
Wow, that's beautiful. I was just thinking that as you were saying, all of these people getting together with this one intention. What is that called? The Maharishi effect? Yeah. So like 7,000 people get together and meditate, and there's a change in terrorism goes down and violent crimes, and everyone feels more peaceful and joyful. So thank you to you and everyone else who was doing that. For all of us who weren't doing it, we definitely get to benefit.
Yeah. Well, that event, also led by Burners, has been going on for 22 years. And I've been privileged to help lead that in 3 different locations over time. And what else happened? So Sunday was the day of radical acts of compassion. And, today's Monday. It's not too late to do a radical act of compassion.
Never too late.
So that's, deciding to forgive somebody, or going and picking up trash, or taking in your neighbor's trash cans from the street because they left them out and it's raining, or volunteering to babysit, or bringing someone a flower, or giving someone a hug, or making time for someone who needs to talk. And there's so many ways that we contribute to world peace. And I think a lot of times people think that if you're not like marching down the street with a sign, or chaining yourself to a tree, or, going up against big pharma, that you don't have an impact. But the truth is that culture is made of people, and people need each other. And when I go and have dinner with a friend who needs help, or I receive love from a friend when I'm feeling shaky, world peace is activated. There's joy coming out of my energy field. There's joy going into someone else's energy field. And there's a sense of community that grows. And when you feel connected to other people, you don't feel lonely. You don't want to die anymore. You feel whole and home. And for us to care about this world, we need to feel home. We need to feel connected to each other and strengthened through acts of love and kindness. So I love that Unify is involved in all of that.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's those tiny little small acts of kindness, those little moments of compassion that really do make a difference, don't they?
Yeah, and this group is giving people an opportunity to lead events like that. So you can show up an event, or you can say, you know what? Gosh darn it, I'm going to be the person in my neighborhood that hosts this. And I could be, dancing in my backyard with the track that everyone's listening to, their global prayer for peace. And then you put on some music and you dance. And, we could do that for 30 minutes or an hour with my friends. I don't have to be a person who rents an event center and hosts this giant thing and raises money to do that. It can be very simple in your own living room or outside in your yard. And there's a place on their website to put a little pin and say, this is my event. And then that counts, and you can see it tally up. You can be the only person in your town or your city that's doing it, even if you live out in the middle of nowhere. So nice. I just want to hip you guys. They do an event every quarter, and they're beautiful. We did a big global drum circle, and people all over the world in over 500 locations did it. So I think, was it 500 locations or 500 countries? It was a lot.
Wow.
Anyway, check it out. Unified.org is that website, and they will be doing something else in, the next few months. So get in there, you guys, and take a stand. Do something good. It's uplifting. And plus, people come out of the woodwork like you, and you realize that you've got people in town who think like you and feel like you and care about these things and want to improve the world and want to add to the collective wisdom and care about the water, care about world peace. They do World Water Day. Oh, it's just a great thing. I'm all pumped up and excited.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And too, there's so much power when we connect this way. Whether it's on the internet or whether it's locally, it's just our power just squares every time we get together. So,
exactly. Yeah. It's so important that we gather in person and that we stay connected and that we feel connected. And, the response that I've generated is to create the World Tapping Circle so people can gather. Okay, we're not at each other's houses because there's not a house big enough to put everybody in, but we're gathering live. We're doing a live stream every week. So it's sort of like this podcast. There's a sense of like, I've got my peeps and we're moving together. In the case of the World Tapping Circle, we're moving blocks and fears and insecurities and self-sabotaging patterns out of our nervous system, out of our body and our brains so that we can go and do these events, so that we can stand up and speak our truth, so that we can create new businesses in a more sustainable way, so that we can be better parents. So everything that anybody does on a personal level is done for the collective.
Yes.
I just want you guys to remember that.
Yes, that ripple that you send out in the pond hits everyone.
Yeah, it's so important. And I actually met a pea head. Pea head is a weird name.
It is.
Like poo head, pea head. No, a positive head. We're going to do all a little better. I met someone who's like, oh my gosh, is that Sonya Sophia? I recognize her voice from Positive Head Podcast.
Nice. Beautiful.
Oh, it's super exciting to get to meet someone out in a field who knows Brandon and knows this work. And
yeah.
So cool.
It is really fun. I had that experience too at Contact. I was at a party, and at the end of the night, I was just talking in a group of people, and someone just said, "Hey, I recognize your voice." And it was from here as well. So yeah, it was so fun to connect like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about what the World Tapping Circle is, just in case there's new listeners. I know there's lots of new listeners every day. So in case someone hasn't heard you before and doesn't know what the World Tapping Circle is, tell them about it.
World Tapping Circle is a way to have emotional support and to be able to move baggage, move fear, move pain, move trauma out of your nervous system using EFT. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. I've been teaching for about 13 years, and I train practitioners all over the world. And if there's anyone listening to this and you're like, oh, I've been looking for someone to get trained, contact me. I have a few openings left for my October training. It's a beautiful thing. They call it the Angel Factory. People come out so shiny and capable of helping other people. The World Tapping Circle is a live stream broadcast that I do every Monday. And we basically beam into your phone or your computer and tap with you. And everyone does it together. And actually, Erica, I'm going to give you a sample.
Nice. Good.
Today so that you can experience it too.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a newbie. I've never done this before. So, first time around your hands. We'll see how I do.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
So tapping is a way for you to move patterns and habits and emotional debris out of your nervous system through your body. You actually feel the stuff coming out of your body, and your brain clears, your mood lifts. It's a very natural way to enhance and brighten your mood, to get your head clear, and to release fear. All kinds of fear, anger, anxiety, depression, this kind of stuff. Memories, traumatic events, it comes out. People are using it for PTSD, to help people who've gone through traumatic situations, including soldiers. Kaiser Permanente, the big insurance company, is now accepting payment for EFT.
Wow, that's a big step.
It's huge. They've worked on it for 25 years to get people to accept this as a treatment modality. And they finally have said, yes, okay, fine, it does work. And
excellent. Yeah, it takes a while.
Remedy instead of just giving you pills. So.
Sure. Yeah, being part of the medical community myself, I understand how all of that works. It definitely takes a long time to get things set in motion, especially when it's a natural technique and it doesn't involve making something in a lab.
Yeah,
that you can make money off of.
Anything, and it's a self-empowering technique,
yes.
which I really love. So, I'm not healing anybody. People are healing themselves in the presence of their own loving truth. And so you basically tap on the meridian points of the body, the same points that an acupuncturist uses. And you refer psychologically to whatever it is that's bothering you. You're like, this irritation, this feeling, this fear. You talk about it, acknowledge it, and then you just bring acceptance and empathy into the mix. And as soon as that part of you touches empathy or love or forgiveness, any kind of positive emotion, it starts to melt. You see, all this debris in our brains is just waiting for some acceptance and love. And it's reverse psychology, because we think if we accept our fear, it's going to make it worse. It's going to make it permanent. If I accept the bad memory instead of fighting it, then it will just define me. But the truth is, if you can accept your past, really accept it, you're not surrendering to that being your life. It's actually clearing it from your nervous system. It finishes the story.
Beautiful. Wow. You're healing the wound.
Yeah, you're healing it instead of coping with it or working around it.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives people an enormous amount of physical vitality, inner peace, resolution in relationships. People grieve very quickly while tapping. If you have, death of a loved one, you can process it in days and hours instead of weeks or months or never.
Yeah.
People's bodies heal remarkably quickly when they process the trauma of going through the accident, the injury, or the surgery. They're literally, the electricity goes to the wound site and starts rapidly finishing that process. You have no idea how much your thoughts and feelings have to do with everything you are capable of doing, including physical and emotional healing.
It's so true. I think it's really the only thing. As the only thing, really, when you're sick, the only thing that doesn't come from the mind or the emotions is things that you pre-incarnatively chose, right? So everything else comes from your mind and your emotions every time. And if the mind doesn't want to process it, the body then has to. So I love this because it works along the meridians, and Chinese medicine has been around for 4,000 years. Talk about standing the test of time. It must work, right?
Yeah, so, it does. And we found a modern application that's self-induced, which is really nice because you don't have to go to someone else and pay them a lot of money. And I actually, over the last few years, have been doing the World Tapping Circle, testing it out with hundreds and hundreds of people and noticing that it's working over the internet and that they don't have to pay a lot of money. I actually raised $1 million. I raised $250,000 and then earned the other 2/3. Wow. So I've spent $1 million on this project to make healing, self-healing affordable, fast, user-friendly, and for anyone who can hit up Wi-Fi.
Wow, that's great. So anybody can do this from home anytime they feel like they need some help with unblocking or releasing some emotion, just overall feeling better. They can just come in, right? And then are they at specific times, the circles, or they can pop in just whenever?
The circle, the live stream is at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. But it's recorded and uploaded to the members' library. So there's hundreds of videos in there that explain what tapping is, show you how to do it. There's short taps, there's long taps, they're themed, and they're all organized. So you can be like, I want one on family pain. I want one on dealing with death. I want one on fear of my own success. And there's a tab for that.
Perfect. Excellent. So there's something for everyone's needs right there, easily accessible at your fingertips. Thank you for setting that up for everyone, Sonya. That's amazing. Sounds like a lot of work.
It was, I've done a lot of tapping and crying and processing to get here. I didn't know anything about computers, and I certainly didn't know how to make videos and stuff when I started, but I knew that I was struggling with depression. I was struggling with suicidal thoughts. I was struggling with being a single mom. I was struggling with having almost no money and feeling alone and isolated and weird and different. And the emotional support and care that I got really made a huge difference. And it gave me strength. And I thought, everybody needs this. Everybody needs this. And who has money for therapy when they're struggling to pay the bills or trying to take care of their kids?
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of times you come last, especially moms. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's typical for moms to do everything first and completely neglect the self-care, which really needs to be the opposite, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, who's shaping culture?
Exactly.
The hand that rocks the cradle rocks the world, right? Mm-hmm. Because mom's emotions are imprinting in this little baby as she's gestating this child. Mom's emotions are in her breast milk. Mom's emotions are surrounding the child who can't differentiate yet between themselves, their own feelings and their mother's feelings. They are you. Yeah. And so mom has a huge impact. So when the mama's happy, the baby's happy. When mom's healthy and sound and loves life, feels supported, the baby's like, oh, this is a safe world. And this giant goddess loves me. So thus I am safe and protected, right?
It's so true. I can tell you from firsthand experience. I have a 7-week-old at home, and the other day he wasn't sleeping very well, and I was getting frustrated because I'm sleep deprived too, right? So, and I realized in a very short amount of time, luckily, that like the next day I had to go through a day of, not awesome day, and night. But I realized and I know better, this is me. This is, if I just calm down, he will calm down. Mm-hmm. And what do you know? I mean, immediately I just saw that change in him really, really quickly. Babies respond amazingly. So
they're like little crystals. And I learned the same thing with my daughter. Early days, she was crying, and the more she cried, the more stressed I got.
Yep.
And then I also realized that if I could go into a very soft, relaxed, sleepy space, my baby would go into a soft, relaxed, sleepy space. Like, oh, okay. So again, that's the impact we have on each other and on the field. And Earth Dance and stuff is just a larger version of that same thing. When people hold something in a certain way, everyone feels that everyone benefits. And I thought, well, as a mom, I needed childcare. I couldn't go to therapy. I needed a babysitter. I needed a parking place. I needed a car, and at the time I couldn't even afford a car. Right. So I thought, what if I could take the need for driving somewhere out? What if I could take the timing out? Because when do you have time as a mom?
Yeah, you don't know. Right. You don't know. Yeah, is a better one.
You don't, and you don't know. But after the baby's asleep is really the answer. And we don't know when that's going to be. Mm-hmm. So if I could take the time out, and if I could take the price out so that it was like as cheap as possible. And I did those things. So it's about $675 a week.
So doable for most anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can afford this therapy, and you don't have to go anywhere, and you can just do it. I've had people say the only privacy I have is in the bathroom, so I go to the tapping circle in the bathroom, or I sit in my car. Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah, do it wherever you can find that space. Yep, if it's the bathroom, then so be it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, excellent. Good. I'm excited to get into this today. Are we going to do a special tap? I shouldn't say special, they're all special, but a special topic for the tap? Are we focusing on something in particular?
So yes, we're going to do something specifically with EFT to help us feel more connected and whole and part of the global community that is changing the world. Because I know it can feel lonely sometimes to say, I'm the only one on my block, or I'm the weird one in the family. I'm the black sheep that, is open enough to try new things, and I take a lot of flack, or I feel like they're going to laugh at me for being a hippie or for being woo-woo. I just want you to know that if it weren't for the hippies, we wouldn't have organic foods. Whole Foods wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have all these, beautiful green technologies that we're developing, solar panels and wind turbines, and, wave your freak flag.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I think most of us listening do experience that sense of loneliness because we're one of the only people in our group of friends or our family that feel this way, think this way, and believe this way. So a lot of us listening really are that black sheep who feels alone out there in the world, just finding our crew, right?
Yeah. I believe that there's this sorting system before you get to Earth where it's we're going to put one in every family.
Yeah.
Which, just to keep the family evolving and growing. But, somebody needs to check and say, well, one in every family is really lonely. That's a lot of us feeling like we're the odd man out,
Yeah. Yeah. I always feel like we choose to come in here feeling that sense of aloneness so that we can learn that we're not.
Yeah. And do things to counteract the aloneness, which is to bond, to find each other, to build businesses, to create groups, to create foundations, to do things to move things forward. And I've met some really lovely people who are moving at a very high level just in that exact way.
Excellent.
And I can't wait to come back on the podcast and talk to you more about what that is, but it's a little bit top secret right now.
Oh, exciting. All right, good. Well, we look forward to that. All right, cool. So go ahead. Are we ready to get started? Okay. I'm excited.
Yeah, I want to take you there. And I know that you're new to tapping. So this is going to be great for everyone who's new to tapping as well. So all we're going to do is use our own two hands. You can do this with one hand or with two hands. If you're driving, I suggest that you either wait till you're parked or, do it at your own risk. There's a lot of energy that can move. You might find yourself laughing, crying, burping, yawning. Your body's going to off-gas this stored stress in a variety of ways. You might feel tingles of electricity. You might feel sort of a semi-psychedelic kind of movement as parts of your brain are literally disconnecting synapses from old looping patterns and hardwiring yourself back for alignment with love, alignment with your own truth, alignment with flow and beauty and health and well-being. You'll feel that happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the session on me. You're going to do the session on you, and I'll tell you where to tap, and I'll give you some words to follow. And Erica, if these words don't hit home for you perfectly, please edit them so that it naturally lands for you. And same with all of our listeners. Go ahead and edit this so that it makes sense to you. And we're going to toggle back and forth between the negative experience of pain, fear, loneliness, whatever that is, the lower vibrational state. And we're going to pump some empathy into the field there through the body. And then once that starts to release, we're going to start bringing in some more positive emotions to help rebuild and reset you. Okay?
Perfect. Sounds good.
Great. So you're going to take one or two hands, find your collarbones, and then drop 4 to 6 inches down into the upper pectoral region, pressing gently around until you find a tender spot or a sore spot in the front of the chest. And give it a light massage and a couple of deep breaths. And with EFT, we want to emphasize the exhalation with a relaxed, open mouth. So inhaling. There you go. That's going to be your best stress reliever right there. It's just the breath.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you some words and you're going to learn the points as we go. So tuning in on the topic of where you feel alone in your life. Maybe you feel alone romantically or sexually. Maybe you feel alone at work, or maybe you feel alone in your family. Wherever you feel that loneliness is impinging. Can you think of a place in your life that resonates with?
I think so.
Sometimes being a mom feels isolating because you're home a lot with the baby and you're like, oh, motherhood is an isolating experience.
That's probably the most pressing right now. Yeah.
So I want you and everyone listening to think about the level of intensity, emotional intensity around this feeling of isolation or loneliness. From 0 to 10. If it's a 0, obviously you're not going to pick it because it's not an issue. But 10 would be like, yeah, I'm so alone that I can't stand it anymore.
So I'm about a 6.
So that loneliness. 6. Okay. So massaging the front of the chest. Big deep breath. Everyone tuning into your issue around feeling alone. Big deep breath and sigh. And just say out loud, even though I feel alone.
Even though I feel alone.
When it comes to, and then say your issue.
When it comes to being hung up in the house, being a mommy all day.
I'm open to loving and accepting myself.
I'm open to loving and accepting myself.
Now you're going to tap your eyebrows with 1 or 2 hands right at the beginning of your eyebrows, on your eyebrow itself. Big deep breath. This feeling of being alone.
This feeling of being alone.
Let's move down your eyebrows to the temples, right at the edge of your eye socket. Big deep breath, tapping right there. Tune into that feeling of being alone. What does that feel like in your body? Does it feel numbing? Does it feel sad? Does it feel depressing?
Sad and depressing.
Mm-hmm. Big deep breath, just connecting with that feeling of being sad and depressed. And sigh. And tapping the front of the cheekbones, right where your cheeks stick out the most in front. This sad feeling of being alone.
This sad feeling of being alone.
Now tap under your nose. Big deep breath. And everyone do this with us, okay? If you really want to know if this works, you got to test it out. So Erica, tuning into that feeling of being alone again. Let yourself just get a sample of that feeling and breathe. Tapping under your nose, above your lips. Tapping under your lips. Part of me doesn't like this feeling at all.
Part of me doesn't like this feeling at all.
And just acknowledge that, yeah? You don't like it. Now tap down to the chest. Spread your fingers out, tapping around in a circle on your chest. I resist this feeling of being alone.
I resist this feeling of being alone.
Big deep breath. Tap the bottom of the ribs. So drop down to the front of the rib cage, tapping the bottom couple of ribs right where they stick out the most in front. Part of me likes being alone and part of me hates being alone.
Part of me likes being alone and part of me hates being alone.
Big deep breath. Okay, now you're going to tap the side of the rib cage. You can either cross your arms like you're hugging yourself and tap the side of your rib cage right where your bra strap would go across, or you can tap at the back of your knuckles, kind of like a monkey, the side of your rib cage. I accept the part of me that dreads this lonely feeling.
I accept the part of me that dreads this lonely feeling.
Big deep breath. And tap the inside of your wrist. So if you look at your wrist and you move it back and forth, you'll feel a bone popping up and down on the little finger side of your wrist. So tap that bone and across the inside of the wrist. I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
For people listening, sometimes that's really intense to say. So you could say, I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Even with this lonely feeling.
I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even with this lonely feeling.
Big breath, big sigh. Good. Now put your hand like you're going to karate chop something. Look down at the edge of your thumb and tap right there at the side of your thumbnail. Tuning into that feeling of being alone in the specific situation that we're talking about. And for you, Erica, it's going to be around being a new mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeling when your partner walks out the door and he's gone, you're just like, oh, okay.
When are you coming?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tap your index finger, same place, side of your fingernail. So everyone listening, think about the situation that brings up this lonely feeling. Maybe it's late at night for you. Maybe it's Saturday and you're like, I don't even want to go out and I don't even know where to go. And big deep breath. Tap the middle finger. I accept the part of me.
I accept the part of me
that withdrew.
That withdrew.
And felt disconnected.
And felt disconnected.
When it comes to, and then say the situation for you, Eric, could be when it comes to motherhood.
Yeah, when it comes to mommyhood.
Big deep breath. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. So you're going to switch sides and tap the ring finger, the fourth finger, but on the side closest to the little finger. Okay? Don't worry if you don't feel like you're getting all the points right. This is still going to work. They're all connected to each other. I'm open to loving and accepting myself.
I am open to loving and accepting myself.
Even if part of me feels excruciatingly alone.
Even if part of me feels excruciatingly alone.
Big deep breath. And tap your little finger back to the original edge. Again, if you're putting your hand like you're going to karate chop something, spread your fingers out, look down at your pinky, and tap the edge of your inside edge of your little finger right at the side of your thumbnail or your fingernail. Okay? This feeling of being all alone in it.
This feeling of being all alone in it.
Now tap the side of your hand where that karate chop would land, that fleshy part of the side of your hand. Big deep breath. I love and accept myself, or I'm open to loving and accepting myself.
I love and accept myself.
Even if I carry this loneliness around inside me all the time.
Even if I carry this loneliness inside of me all of the time.
Big deep breath. Okay. So we're going to have our first check-in. Tune in, keep tapping the side of your hand. Tune in and see if you can still sense that lonely feeling that we talked about at the beginning around your specific topic.
It's a little less. I felt actually release. Yeah, I felt a little release from my chest, from my heart center.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What number would you give it now?
A 4.
Already dropped 2 points. We've really only been tapping 5 minutes or so. So tap the top of the head. Even though I'm used to carrying this feeling of loneliness.
I'm used to carrying this feeling of loneliness.
And then say where you think you carry it in your body.
That I carry in my heart.
Okay. Tap the sides of the head behind the ears and the back of the skull. I'm still worthy of love.
I'm still worthy of love.
And connection.
And connection.
Big breath, big sigh. And tap the eyebrows. This feeling of loneliness that I carry, and then say again, where in your body?
This feeling of loneliness that I carry in my heart.
Tap your temples, breathe, and tune into it. See if you can still feel that in your heart or wherever that is in your body. Just noticing it, not trying to change it, not judging it, just bringing some loving attention there and breathing. Tap the front of the cheeks. Where did I pick this up?
Where did I pick this up?
Say that 3 times. I see the lights coming on over there.
Where did I pick this up? Where did I pick this up?
Tapping into the nose. What's the answer? Where did you learn to carry loneliness in your heart around mothering?
From my mother.
Right. My case in
Go
point.
figure.
Okay, here we go. For all you people who are momming out there, tapping under the lips. Even if I picked this up from my mom and my dad or whomever.
Even if I pick this up from my mom or whoever.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Tap your chest. I learned from, and then say the person. I learned from
my mom
to
feel this loneliness in my heart.
Big deep breath. And tap the front of your ribs. I'm releasing and then whoever the person is, in your case, it would be, I'm releasing my mother's loneliness.
I'm releasing my mother's loneliness.
Big deep breath. Now do it. What's happening?
Oh my goodness. It's amazing just to acknowledge it and breathe it out with that intention of releasing it. It actually releases it. Wow. Oh my God.
Tap the side of your ribs. Let's say that again. That's so powerful. I'm releasing who's what? Go ahead, fill in the blank.
I'm releasing the anger that I learned from, I'm sorry, not the anger. I guess there's some anger there too, huh? That just popped up. Interesting how that happens, huh? I'm releasing the loneliness that I learned from my mother to carry in my heart.
And the anger.
And the anger. And the
about
anger.
feeling lonely.
That's probably, and the anger about feeling lonely. Interesting.
Big breath. Tap the inside of the wrist. I accept the part of me that's been doing the same thing.
I accept the part of me that's been doing the same thing.
Check and see. Have you been feeling lonely and being angry that you feel alone in this?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Big deep breath. Tap the side of the thumb. I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
And my mother.
And my mother.
And the fathers that are involved.
and the fathers. Mm-hmm.
For any loneliness.
For any loneliness.
And anger.
And anger.
Big breath and huge wave of forgiveness to the people involved in your story. Tap your index finger, another huge wave of forgiveness. Tapping the index finger at the side of the fingernail, big breath. Middle finger, let's do another third wave of forgiveness to everyone involved in your situation. Starting with yourself. How do you feel?
Way better. Lighter.
Tap the bottom of the fourth finger, so switching sides there. So tuning in again to the original feeling of being all alone. See if you can still feel it.
Not as strong.
What's happening?
It's way less. It's like almost like when you asked me to do that, I'm like, where is it? I have to find it again.
Yeah. So notice that it was very easy for you to find at the beginning. It was like right there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that you're distracted. It's that you're melting it.
Mm-hmm.
You just identified where it came from. You sent empathy and love and forgiveness there. And everyone involved, including you, just got a psychic email of forgiveness and went, because your mom didn't start this feeling in your family. It probably started with your grandmother. And maybe that started with her mother. We don't even know how far back this isolated pattern goes.
Sure.
But whatever it is, we just pulled that thread through with our attention and our love through your DNA, the blood in your veins that carries that memory that started enacting the pattern, just got a wave of forgiveness and love. So everyone connected to that DNA just got the same thing. So that's a microdose of what we do in the tapping circle. We do an hour worth of tapping.
Wow.
Can you imagine if you can do this in like 10 or 15 minutes as a new person, what you could do in an hour?
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Wow. You can heal. Really, what you can heal is all wounds, 7 generations too. You can do that. You can send that wave out through all the generations and really heal it.
And really heal it.
And sending that forgiveness out stops the wheel of karma.
Yeah. It's a karmic cleanser.
Yeah.
And an emotional detox for you. And then your body reorganizes. So check in. So you can just stop tapping for a second. Check in and see how your body feels. Did anything physically shift for you?
I feel like the tension that I wasn't really noticing before, now I notice it's not there. So there was like an internal kind of tightness that has definitely calmed down.
Yeah. So this is what I'm referring to when I say the physiology responds to your emotions and your thoughts and your beliefs. And you probably didn't even know that some part of you believed that moms are just lonely and that's just how it is. And they just have this little chip on their shoulder about it.
Right.
Right? Because it's just normal until you're like, oh. And you don't have to even figure yourself out. All you have to do is tap and say, I feel like this right now. And then as you start to acknowledge that and you say, oh, where did this come from? Then your brain drops down and goes, oh. And then, there's more and more stuff is revealed. And in the tapping circle, I developed a series of questions called the core causes questions that take you deeper and deeper so that you can tap not just on the superficial level to feel better for 5 minutes, but deeply like, let's pull this pattern out. Let's be done with the thing for the whole family.
Yeah. Wow. And I like that question of where do you feel this in your body? I think that's the biggest thing because our energy is going to sit somewhere in our body always. Right. So if you can focus on where that is, then you can really hone in on it and understand where it's coming from.
And that energy is carrying information. It tells you when you ask. So it's just like a computer program where you have to ask, you have to put in a search, like search for where did this come from? And then bing the answer. Right.
It's one of like the secrets of the universe. You have to ask. I always think it's one of the biggest secrets because you have to ask for help. You have to ask for guidance. You have to ask for a solution to a problem as opposed to just sitting around waiting for something to happen for you.
You know why I think that is a universal law?
Why?
Because it tells the universe that you're ready for that information.
Yeah. It's interference otherwise, yeah? Like a free will disturbance.
Well, it also is like saying this person isn't developmentally ready for this information. So if the little kids start saying, Mommy, where do babies come from? You're like, oh, good. Today's that day.
Right.
But you don't.
Now you're ready.
You don't preemptively start talking about the birds and the bees to a kid until they start showing interest in asking you.
Yes.
So I think the universe is like a good parent saying, oh, they want to know where this came from. That means they're ready to process it and deal with it and be done.
Yeah.
They want to know why they feel isolated. They want to know why they feel depressed. Okay, we're going to give you this information and help you process it. And then presto changeo, the pattern is healed.
Yes. Yeah. You have to ask. Really good rule. You know what? The other thing I really thought interesting was that anger piece that came up while doing this. Like I said, I didn't think about it, but it came up and totally subconsciously too, because it just came out of my mouth without even thinking. That's another huge benefit where you're bringing up stuff that you don't even realize is there. Because that was a big ding in my head was like, holy shit. Like, I guess I'm carrying some anger that I had no idea was really there. Especially too, us spiritual people, quote unquote, spiritual people, like oftentimes don't want to be angry or think it's like a bad emotion, and I know better with that too. And I know we all like know better, but I think subconsciously we do push that anger down because it's like not okay. Yeah.
Especially for women. Women are allowed to be sad, but not to be angry.
Right.
And men culturally are allowed to be angry, but not to be sad.
Yeah.
So, for us to be able to acknowledge it and then have a constructive way to process it. So when you suppress something, as you know, it just lives in the nervous system and it comes out unexpectedly and perhaps to the wrong people, like to your kid, you're like, go to bed.
Right.
Or to your partner who comes in and you're like, where have you been? You're 15 minutes late. And they're just like, I love you. And I just came home to help. And why are you mad at me? I just walked in the door.
Yeah, that cup overflows. Yeah, I've definitely had those moments where all of a sudden it's blah, and you don't even realize that it's built up to fill that cup in the first place until it spills.
Yeah. So doing a little bit of inner work every week preemptively saves wear and tear on your relationships, keeps you in a state of grace and flow and peace for whatever it is that you're doing, whether that be building a business or taking care of children or being with, people. So and when you have inner peace like that and you maintain it and you tend to it, it tends to grow. But it also gives you power because the person who's the most centered is the most powerful in any situation. So the person who keeps her head on straight, the person who can respond with the right information and doesn't get all flustered and confused, the person who can speak kindly and mindfully while continuing to drive the car and navigate to get all the things done is going to be the person who's most effective.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That power is love. And the more love that you can breathe in and resonate within yourself, the more power you have within yourself. That's all it is. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. I love that you have given people a tool that they can use on their own or in a group every day whenever they need it because just to be able to release those emotions and start sending that love and compassion and forgiveness, we can heal you. Yeah. You're healing the world.
Well, that's the intention and that's the work. I looked at the whole healing the world thing for many, many years and thought, How can I commit? Where should I plug in? There's so many ways that we can do it. Should I go protect the water? Should I go work for Greenpeace? What's the thing? And finally, after working on myself and studying this, I was like, this is an inside job.
Yeah.
If
Absolutely.
I can get a large group of people to start processing the generations of conditioning and the abuse and the trauma out of their nervous systems, they automatically will start to do beautiful, healthy, aligned things, because healthy, happy people do not create a sick and twisted world. They can't.
Exactly.
They will create a version of the world that works to keep them healthy and happy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my goal. And I'm so excited and grateful to be a part of Positive Heads, to be a part of the larger Burning Man community, to be doing things with Earth Dance and moving, connecting with Unify and those projects, and being able to say, okay, people, this doesn't have to take a long time. It's not rocket science. It's really basic. You've got the tools on your own hands to do this. Take an hour a week, run some kindness through your nervous system, dump your garbage, and continue to move the movement forward. Because, self-evolution fuels the revolution.
Mm-hmm, indeed. Yeah. And healing, this, healing only comes from within, and it's a personal responsibility. So we have to put that work in order to heal ourselves. And by healing ourselves, then yes, we heal the world. Yep. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Absolutely love it. Sonya, that's so great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing that for us and for me. Another thing I just thought of too, when we were doing that, what it also did was also encourage communication with my higher self, which I didn't expect. But looking back on it, like that subconscious thing that came out of me was my higher self being like, hey, look at this. And even when you ask yourself, where in my body, you're asking for guidance from your higher self too, because a lot of times you're not paying attention to that. And so it's your higher self that's like, it's right here, helping you and guiding you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did one little affirmation. We tapped the top of the head and said, I'm allowing myself to feel connected.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a command that goes into the nervous system. And just like a computer, it's like, okay, find connection. And the brain just goes click. Okay, you turn the connector on. Mm-hmm. So now I can feel connected. And if we had a longer time to do this session, we would go deeper into, tapping and saying, I'm allowing myself to find the resources. I'm allowing myself to feel bonded with all the mothers of the world who are raising a whole next generation of beautiful people to come and who will steer the planet forward. And I'm doing this with my love, and I'm doing this with all my heart. And this is a beautiful group project that all the mothers are involved in. And you really getting into that, and just like, and then your brain starts to get that this is a sacred and powerful and supremely important role that the moms are playing. And for all of you who are listening out there, you find your way to, just tap on your chest and say, I'm giving myself the possibility. Let's just finish up with a little post tap and say, I'm giving myself the possibility.
I'm giving myself the possibility
of feeling unified and connected. Ending the pattern of isolation and loneliness. Big breath, tuning into what that means for you. You feel that start to just lock in. It's like, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of us, So tapping the top of the head, I'm creating the possibility of feeling connected.
I'm creating the possibility of feeling connected.
To others like me. Who are going through the same thing. And finding their way through. We're doing this together. None of us are here alone. And I'm allowing myself to feel that solidarity. And just tap all over your body. And here's where you get to do it for yourself. So say 5 loving things to yourself as you tap all over your body randomly. 5 loving things to encourage yourself. I'm going to put you on the spot, Erica.
Oh, geez. Okay. 5 loving things to encourage myself. I am strong.
Mm-hmm.
I am loving.
Mm-hmm.
I am forgiving. I am sensitive.
Beautiful.
Is that 4 or 5?
One more.
I'm willing.
Yes. And may I add, and you're doing your part.
And I am doing my part. Yes. Wow.
And when you tap and say those affirmations, it goes in deeper. Your body starts to resonate like a drum skin.
I got the chills.
That's it. You know, if you were tapping a glass of water, you would see the water start to jiggle. And your body is mostly water.
Yeah.
And so that water is carrying information. I'm sure you've discussed this on the show before.
Sure.
You're reprogramming not only your synapses and your limbic imprint, but the water in your body has now got this information.
Yeah. And we just restructured it with our thoughts and our intentions because there's science to prove that it actually works this way, that our sound vibration complexes that come out of our mouth, our words, are actually changing the structure of the water that makes us us. Yeah. And
we have so much power to reprogram it. You know, you are not your history. You are not your family. You are not even the part of you where you came into the world to work on a certain thing. You can actually get with it, work on that thing, and finish that theme that you're working on and move through all that stuff. So I hope that we get a lot more positive heads tapping it out and pumping the field with us.
Yeah, everybody go join the World Tapping Circle with Sonya. I mean, utilize this every single day, because I can tell you that just from my first experience with this, that it really works. And it's amazing to feel it in your body and to feel that release happening. So I'm going to have a way better day today. And I'm going to be, I'm going to be way more calm, cool, and collected, and not feeling so alone, because I just felt that connectedness and saw it in my mind's eye, that connectedness with all of you out there. So I can feel it, and that feels wonderful. So thank you for helping me start my day this way, Sonya.
You're so welcome, Erica. What a joy to tap with you. I hope we get to do more together.
Yeah, this was fun.
The place to find the World Tapping Circle is worldtappingcircle.com/positive head. And I've created a discount for Positive Head members. And that gives you access to the circle, which the monthly membership is $27 a month. That's about $6.75 a week, but it's dropped to $19 a month for Positive Head listeners. So you'll find that at the bottom of the page, and some courses that I lead using tapping to help with love and relationships and money and cleaning up your chakras, and also a training course online for people who want to learn the deep dive of how tapping works.
Awesome. So you guys go check that out, because I know y'all have $20 a month. You can put like 50 cents in a jar every day, and you'll have that to contribute to your healing. So you can heal yourself. That is a small price to pay, I say.
worldtappingcircle.com/positive head.
Awesome.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Sonya. I'm so glad we got to do this. Definitely. We'll do this again.
I can't wait.
Good.
And I hope I see you in the circle.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, until next time, everyone, we will see you whenever that next time is. Have a beautiful day. I hope it's filled with healing and love. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
And we are going to leave you with a song today of Sonya's choosing. It is by We Are the Messengers, and the song is called Everything Comes Alive. Enjoy, everyone. Also, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear Brandon constantly say, it is a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration, and if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place we know of to do it, period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out.
In the morning when my heart is cold, you're the heat for my weary soul. You're the good in all I know. In the mirror, all that I see is your grace looking back at me. I'm not the man that I used to be. You're the song rising from my heart. Everything comes alive. Everything comes alive. Everything comes alive. Everything comes alive. And you give me even when my bones are tired. You're my strength and my heart's desire. You're the light when the sun expires. I remember how far I've come. I'm not lost with you, I'm home. I didn't find you on my own. You're the song rising from my heart. Everything comes alive. Everything comes alive. Everything comes alive. Everything comes alive. And you, I'm made alive. Now I'm by your side. I've come alive. I've come alive. I'm made alive. Now I'm by your side. I've come alive. I've come alive. When my days are done, I got a hope that I'm sure of. I'll be with